Imagine this. What if you could stop time? Just freeze everything in its tracks with a snap of your fingers. The world around you, suspended in a perpetual now. Think of the sheer power, the absolute control over reality itself. But what would that really mean? Would you become a god among mortals, or would you find yourself isolated in a world where nothing moves, nothing changes, and you alone are left to wander the silence? Now picture the city around you. Cars halted mid-motion, birds frozen in the sky, every clock face stuck at the same second. The air itself feels thick, as if the universe is holding its breath. Would you feel exhilaration, or would the silence become deafening? The fantasy is intoxicating, but the reality might be far stranger, and far more unsettling, than you ever imagined. For a whole hour, 60 glorious minutes where you reign supreme over the temporal landscape. Think of the possibilities. You could read every secret document in a locked room, paint a masterpiece in the middle of a bustling square, or simply enjoy the peace of a world on pause. Imagine walking through a museum, touching priceless artifacts with no alarms blaring, or exploring the world's wonders with no crowds in sight. The things you could accomplish, the mischief you could get into, the secrets you could uncover, the advantages you could seize. But is it really that simple? What if every action you take in this frozen world has consequences you can't predict? What if the very act of moving through a paused reality leaves invisible marks like footprints in wet cement? Sounds like the ultimate sci-fi power, right? The kind of ability that heroes and villains alike would kill for. A power that could rewrite history, alter destinies, and reshape the very fabric of existence. But let's dig deeper. What does it actually mean to stop time? Not just for you, but for the universe itself. Imagine the ripple effects, a single second stretched into infinity, the laws of cause and effect thrown into chaos. Would you be able to interact with anything, or would you become a ghost, unable to touch or change the world around you? The implications are mind-bending, and the questions only multiply the further you go. Let's get weird for a second. Forget the Hollywood gloss and the superhero fantasies. Let's confront the cold, hard, potentially terrifying reality of such an act. What would happen to the laws of physics, to the flow of energy, to the very building blocks of matter if time itself came to a halt? Would atoms still vibrate? Would gravity still pull? Would heat still flow from hot to cold? The universe is a symphony of motion, and stopping time is like slamming your hand down on the piano keys. Everything goes silent, but the tension remains, unresolved and unnatural. If you press pause on the universe, what actually happens? What are the consequences of such a drastic action? What unseen forces would be unleashed? What fundamental laws would be shattered? Imagine the universe as a movie. If you hit pause, every frame freezes. But unlike a movie, reality doesn't have a play button waiting for you. The film strip burns in the projector, the story never resumes. The energy that once flowed through every atom is now locked in place, like a river turned to glass. The consequences could be catastrophic, not just for you, but for the very fabric of existence. First up, it's not as simple as everyone freezing in place, like hitting pause on a movie. It's not just a matter of suspending animation and then resuming it at will. Physics doesn't take coffee breaks. The universe doesn't just stop functioning because you want it to. It's a complex, interconnected web of energy and matter, constantly in flux. Every heartbeat, every gust of wind, every flicker of light is part of a vast, ongoing process. If you stop time, you're not just pausing people. You're pausing the very mechanisms that make reality possible. Light, sound, even the air you breathe. All of it is energy moving through time. Everything is in constant motion, vibrating and oscillating at different frequencies. From the smallest subatomic particle to the largest galaxy, everything is dancing to the rhythm of time. Freeze time, and all that movement stops too. It's like turning off the switch on existence itself, a complete and utter cessation of all activity. Imagine a world where music stops mid-note, where the wind never blows, where even your own thoughts seem to echo in the void. You wouldn't see anything. Vision relies on light constantly bombarding your retinas, a continuous stream of photons that allows us to perceive the world. If time stops, photons freeze mid-flight. Light would get stuck wherever it was, frozen in place like tiny invisible statues. So boom, everything goes pitch black. A sensory deprivation chamber on a universal scale. A void of absolute darkness, devoid of all visual input. Even the stars in the night sky would vanish, their light unable to reach you. It's not just darkness, it's the absence of all experience, a blindness deeper than anything you've ever known. Even if your eyes are open, No new light hits them. You'd be staring into an infinite void, a blackness so profound it would be beyond comprehension. And breathing? Forget about it. Respiration is a process that requires constant movement and exchange. It's the life-sustaining act of drawing in oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. Air molecules stop moving. They become static, unyielding obstacles, no longer able to flow in and out of your lungs. Imagine trying to breathe underwater, but the water is solid. The very air becomes an invisible wall, and you're trapped inside your own body. You try to inhale, but nothing happens. Your lungs remain empty, your chest frozen in place. A desperate, futile attempt to draw breath in a world where breath is impossible. You're frozen too, trapped in a moment that stretches into eternity. A living statue, suspended in time, unable to move, unable to feel, unable to escape. The silence is absolute, the stillness suffocating. It's not just your body that's trapped, it's your very sense of self, locked away in a timeless prison. Unless your time-stopping powers somehow keep you in your own private bubble, a personal sanctuary where the laws of physics still apply, a pocket of normalcy in a world gone mad. But then, you're not really stopping time for everyone, just for everyone else. You're creating a localized temporal anomaly, a tear in the fabric of space-time. Imagine walking through a world where everything is frozen except you, like being the only moving piece on a chessboard where all the other pieces are statues. The paradoxes pile up and the universe strains to accommodate your existence. Here's the kicker. If you could walk around while everything else is paused, existing outside the flow of time, you'd be a ghost in a world of statues. An observer, forever separated from the reality you once knew. A solitary figure wandering through a frozen landscape. Even touching something would be weird. The very act of physical contact would become a paradox, a collision of two realities, one frozen and one in motion. Would your hand pass through objects, or would you shatter them with the slightest touch? The rules of physics break down, and you become a living contradiction. Atoms wouldn't move, so you'd pass right through them like a phantom slipping through solid matter. Your hand would simply phase through a wall, a table, or even another person. Or you might shatter everything you touch. The sudden introduction of motion into a frozen world could have catastrophic consequences. A ripple effect of destruction spreading outwards from your point of contact. Imagine breaking a window and watching the cracks spread endlessly, never stopping, because time itself is paused. Plus, time is tied to gravity, heat, even how your own body works. Every biological process is governed by the passage of time. From the beating of your heart to the firing of your neurons, everything is synchronized to the temporal rhythm of the universe. Pause the universe, and you risk ripping yourself away from the laws that keep you alive. You become an anomaly, adrift in a sea of frozen moments, a cosmic castaway, lost in the stillness of eternity. Your body, your mind, your very soul, everything is out of sync with the world you once knew. 1 hour could turn into forever for you, an eternity spent in a silent, motionless world. A timeless prison of your own making, stuck outside reality, unable to start things back up. A prisoner of your own power, doomed to wander through a frozen world for all eternity. The silence becomes your only companion, and the weight of endless time presses down on you, heavier than any chain. So, stopping time for an hour? Not only is it terrifying, it's probably impossible. A violation of the fundamental principles of the universe. A dangerous game with forces beyond our comprehension, at least with the physics we know. Our current understanding of the cosmos suggests that time is an integral part of its fabric, an essential dimension that cannot be simply paused or reversed. To tamper with time is to tamper with the very code of reality itself. But hey, that's why sci-fi is so much fun. It allows us to explore the impossible, to imagine realities beyond our current comprehension, to bend the rules of physics and explore the consequences. Because sometimes, the weirdest what-ifs make the best stories. They challenge our assumptions and push the boundaries of our imagination. They force us to confront the unknown and to question the very nature of reality. So let your mind wander. What would you do if you could stop time, even for a moment? So think about it. Would you hit pause if you couldn't hit play again? The risk might just outweigh the reward. The potential consequences far outweighing any temporary gain. Sometimes the best superpower is knowing when not to use it. In the end, maybe the greatest power is understanding the limits of power itself.